Hey everyone, and welcome to Just Me Hanging Out. This is actually Heather Haven with the Win podcast. We're going to do it a little differently today. So you're going to be listening to us on Podomatic, on Renegade Nation, as well as iTunes and Stitcher. But you might be watching me live right now in my studio at home in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to be interviewing today Greg Smith from the CEO of Thinkific. Greg, how you doing? You there?
I'm great. Yeah, this is so cool. We've been doing a lot of Facebook Live lately, but we have yet to do a live interview like this. This is awesome.
This is cool. Yeah. So you and I are just going to be talking, and you and I do not have Facebook Live open right now. So we have no clue if you're down below doing comments, just so you know, right? So we have no idea. We're just going to do this interview, and we're probably not going to look at the comments. We'll look at the comments later when we get off. So my name is Heather Havenwood. You're probably on my timeline listening to this and watching this. So again, Renegade Nation or people that you're listening to the Win with Heather Havenwood, we are doing this live, like simulcast video where I'm looking at Greg while he's in his office in Canada and I'm in Austin, Texas, and we're going to be stripping this audio, making it into a podcast. So this is what I call multi-dimensional ways to create content. And it's a perfect kind of thing that we're doing with the CEO of Thinkific. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Greg. So Greg Smith is the founder and CEO of Thinkific, a software platform that makes it easy to create, market, and sell online courses. And Greg was working as a corporate lawyer for one of the largest firms in the country when he launched an online course on the side. And revenues from his course soon surpassed his salary, his big fat salary as a lawyer. And Greg jumped off the corporate ladder and into online education full time. Since then, Greg and his team at Thinkific have helped thousands of coaches, authors, speakers, and companies create and sell their own online courses as a way to build their brands or revenue. So, Greg, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome. Excited to be chatting with you.
I get to have a lot of conversation with you because I've been in the online information marketing business forever, and it has changed so much. I mean, I don't know what you used when you first got started, but I know for me, it used to be HTML pages, and then you had to move it over to a wish list, which was kind of new in 2006 and 7.
FTP.
Oh my God, FTP it, and you had to upload a doc. I mean, it was really challenging. So take us a little bit to that time, or what was that first course that you created? Take us to that, what I call that bridge from corporate, what happened, and take us from there.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, my online kind of business presence started before there was even websites. I remember the bulletin boards way back then. But yeah, first course, that was, I think the WordPress was there. I think we might have, no, initially it was just HTML pages and then eventually went to WordPress. I was lucky in that when I got started, so I was, when I actually started the course initially, I was actually just in law school, was teaching a course at university on the LSAT, and decided I wanted to start a blog. So started with a blog and then decided to put together an online course. And my brother, luckily for me, was a software developer. So I said, look, I'll do the content, you get the course up and running. I don't think he fully believed that it was going to fly. We actually had a bit of a bet as to whether it would make any sales. And so he said, look, let's just do kind of minimum effort. We'll do it as a part-time thing because neither of us have a lot of time. We'll put something up and then, I'll kind of prove you wrong. It won't go anywhere. I hope it does. And, he treated it with the utmost respect and did a really good job of everything he did. And, but anyway, so we had a bit of a bet as to whether anything would happen. We launched it in the first month. We sold 10 copies and thought, hey, and that was 10. There was no launch, there wasn't an email list. It was just put a link on a website to pay money to get these videos and this course that we created, and 10 copies sold. So we thought, okay, there's something here. So that's when we kind of doubled down and continued to grow it.
So a couple of questions. One, what was the price point of the first product?
First one was $29. So 10 copies, $290. So not a huge, no like six-figure launch here or anything like that.
I know that there's a ton of people out there with a six-figure launch, but I remember the moment when I first got my first dollar from some stranger online, and there was like what? There's a shift, what I call making your first dollar online. Some stranger you've never met has given their credit card for something you put out there. That's the shift. Who cares for the $1 million launch? I think that's the first shift I think everyone has to go through. It's like a coming through, I don't know, like a birth canal or something. I think
we created a bit of a ritual about it. So every time a sale was made, we would play Eye of the Tiger and dance to the music.
Oh my God, if I had Eye of the Tiger now, I'd totally play Eye of the Tiger. Okay, that's awesome. But I have to ask, are you the older brother or the younger brother?
I'm the older. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, there's 10 kids in my family, but between him and I'm the older.
Okay, so he wanted to prove Big Brother wrong, is what he wanted to do. I think.
Well, I think he was excited about it and he hoped it would work, but he was kind of thinking, look, we might need to do more than just put a link up on the site and say buy my course. But that worked. So then that was the sign that doing more was a good thing. He just didn't. He was really smart. He wanted to go the MVP route. Like, let's just get something out there, see if anyone cares. I know you love this idea. I'll help you build it. But if anyone cares, then we can put the effort in.
So what was the first course? What were you selling?
It's for the LSAT. Everything I was teaching was for the law school admissions test. And then the first course was just a mini portion of it. I wanted to teach the whole course that I would teach in 3 days in a classroom, but we just did a couple of hours of it. So just a mini portion around logic games, which is a small section of the LSAT.
I mean, I almost went to law school. So, but anytime you're doing with MCAT, LSAT, you have what I call a hungry crowd, right? They want to take that course once, so you had a hungry crowd. So cool. So you started there and then you moved from that. So that's a huge leap. What year was that?
Originally, I think I got that up and running in 2005.
Okay.
And that sort of was ongoing and growing throughout me going through law school and practicing as a lawyer. And then I jumped full time into online education about 5 years ago.
So tell us how Thinkific happens, because now what this is, I mean, to put it an understanding of people don't know what it is. I mean, I'm going to let you explain from your vision, but for me, as a creator, as an author, as a speaker, it's a easy way to get the information out with what I call the lowest technology barrier. And that's the beauty of where we're at now in today's world, right? We have so many different ClickFunnels, we have other things out there that are allowing creators like ourselves to be able to put out content at a faster rate. I think that's really the keys. Someone always asks me, well, I want to create a course and think about it. Like, to me, it's like what you guys did. Put it out there, and then you can build on it if people like it. Get it out there as fast as possible from the moment of creation, thought process to actually get it out there. So tell me, like, how did you guys go, we should create the software? We go from the education to the software business. Like, how did that happen? Was that a little brother thing?
Well, it was really I mean, he certainly drove a lot of the ideas around the product, and it was very much about solving my problem. I was lucky because I had a little brother I could call who's a super smart software developer and say, hey, can you build this for me? But even with him in the family doing all of that work, the technology was the biggest thing holding us back. So we could be this big, but we're small still because of technology. And so we built Thinkific to solve my problem, which was someone who wants to create their own business, build it around their own brand, and have full control over everything, just as if they had their own software development team setting everything up for them. And that was really the goal. And we started getting, when my course took off, we started getting other people calling me and saying, how did you do it? Can I use your software? And at the time, we couldn't give it to them. So about 5 years ago, we set it up so that we could. And then it really just grew from there by creating something that everybody can go and launch their own business under.
It really is smart. I mean, I'm kind of jealous because I wanted to create it myself, except I don't have a really smart younger brother with software. But it is true. I mean, I guess I've been in the industry since 2001. Okay, when those days you went to seminars and you sat in a room and they did a 90-minute pitch, and then you ran to the back of the room and then you gave them a credit card and they wrote your number on a piece of paper. I know y'all feel like this is 1980. I'm talking about 1910. It really isn't. And then they would give you this like box full of stuff, or I call it thud factor. Did you ever have this, like the heavy stuff, like binders and the? Am I really dating myself? Maybe you're just too young.
No,
for that.
I when I wrote the bar exam, we had to drive across town and pick up our thud factor box, which now it's a bit different because they're not trying to sell you anything. This is actually what you need to read to write the test. But it was literally like 6 binders, each one about a foot thick, and they're like, great, this is what you need to prepare for the exam.
Right. Yeah. Here you go. Here's a thud factor. Well, that was the thud factor of the seminar business. Like the more expensive you ask for money, like say $2,000, $3,000 price point, what I call the bigger the thud factor had to be. Where they had to go home with like all these binders and CD-ROMs and like cassette area, whatever. Anyway, I feel like I'm really dating myself. And then things started shifting where we could go, shift it online and go, we're not going to send you a box of your stuff. We're going to send it to you digitally. Like that was a revolution, 2004 and 5. I remember I went through that. And then nowadays it's all about, what's a book? Like, I don't even know what a binder is. So tell us about that process. Where are you guys at today? How long y'all been around? 5 years, you said? 4 years?
For 4.5, getting closer to 5. Yep.
Okay, and so is your mission just the back end of the course creation, or is it the front end too? Tell people more about the actual software.
Well, the idea, it's really to be the end-to-end. So you mentioned it's got to be easy to set up, and I totally agree. You want to be able to get something out. So the concept is, I'm at the point now where if I have a few videos shot, I can launch a course in under 3 minutes. So that's really, we want to like shrink that down to the easiest possible thing. Now, at that point, you still probably want to go in and finesse and add some marketing language. But I can have a course up and running, ready to accept payments, ready to sell. I could send someone a link and say, hey, my course is ready. You can sign up. It's not going to look perfect yet, but 3 minutes, I can set that up and running. At that point, we also, though, don't want to leave you hanging when you grow. So my course started $29, sold 10 copies in the first month from a simple link to buy the course. And now it's, if thousands of people have gone through and taken it. So we want to make sure that built into Thinkific is also all the tools you need to grow with it to create those massive launches and have those massive membership sites and have access to your courses long run. And so we have clients like Hootsuite or universities or big global companies as well who have millions of users on the system. So we're able to scale to that level, but the concept is really to make sure that it's super easy for you to get started, but then you have all the tools you need to scale.
So thinking about scaling for just a second, I mean, I'm thinking of like a university setting where this is a feature I'm asking about a feature. You go in and there's 10 modules and you don't get all 10 modules. You get you're allowed to get one. And then when you're done with one, you get two. Is that a feature that you guys have been able to create with Thinkific?
So we have a few ways of kind of restricting content. You can have some private stuff and hidden stuff. You can drip content over time. So you can say, you don't get this until next Tuesday, that kind of thing. But one thing we haven't done yet is where you don't get module 3 until you've finished module 2. I think it's something we'll add in the near future. But I have mixed feelings on that. I think it's good in some cases, but it's also kind of like selling someone a textbook and saying you can't flip to chapter 10 until you've read the first 9, which to me as a learner can be frustrating. So we haven't done that yet. It's something that's pretty easy for us to add. So we'll probably add it pretty soon because I do see people ask for it every once in a while. But I generally when people buy my course, everything is unlocked to them immediately. And I find that works really well because if they need to jump ahead or jump back, everything's always there for them.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just remember I just got my, I believe it or not, I got a master's degree in digital online marketing. Can you believe that? From Full Sail University in 2011. And the entire course was online, with video instructors. And, I never really met my teammates via my voice phone. We had to do projects. And I just thought, wow, this is so cool to actually do a university setting like this. And so I think that's what you guys are doing. You're creating that gap and you're helping not only the institutions, but you're also helping the people like me who just want to create an amazing course and leverage that and be able to grow. So are you guys, I'm trying to think of questions that people are going to have, right? So if someone goes, hey, Greg, I don't have a credit card processor. I have PayPal. Like, can I use you guys? Or how does that work? Do I need to go get a SAM card? How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, the idea is we've taken care of everything. So the payment processing is built in. We have a direct integration with Stripe and PayPal. So when you sign up actually through us, you can just basically connect your bank account. And when you sell a course, the money goes directly into your account, which is great. So there's no kind of waiting for fees to transfer to you. You make a sale today, you get instant access to the funds, which is awesome. And everything else. So, I mean, the other big things I think you're looking for what people might ask about getting started. One of the first areas I find people struggle with is even how should I produce the content? So should I be recording video? Should I be do I need a microphone? Do I need lighting? What should I get set up that way? So we've got a lot of guides around helping people with that. But the easy way, I mean, I think is we actually have a free built-in tool that allows you to add voiceover slides. So you could literally just drop in your slides and click record and start recording voiceover, and you don't need any outside software. That's built in for free inside Thinkific. So you just put in your slides and you hit record and start recording. The only thing I would suggest, because I can get pretty deep into the gear. I've built studios. We have the room I'm in right now is all soundproofed. We have nice microphones and lighting. But I actually, most of the time when I'm producing stuff, my whole gear setup is kind of less than $100. So the one thing I would say is worth investing in is a decent microphone. So I like the ATR 2100, or the Snowball is $60. The ATR 2100 is $110. I think or the Yeti is about $120. So any of those are great to just plug in, and are excellent for looks like we might have lost you there. But any of those are excellent for just getting rolling right away. And I wouldn't worry too much about the camera or lighting or anything else like that. I just find that the microphone is the one thing where it's generally the mic that's built into your laptop or your computer is not going to be great quality. It's going to sound a little echoey and thin. So investing in a decent microphone is a great way to get started. The next step from that, I even right now I'm using just the camera on my computer. The lighting's not perfect in here, but if you get decent lighting, even if the cameras built into your laptop are excellent. Let's see. Well, in case we're still broadcasting, I'll keep chatting. It looks like I've lost Heather here. So let's see if we can find her. This is the first time we're trying this out, the whole recording and going Facebook Live with an interview. So it's an interesting experience. Let's see. Good. It sounds intentional.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, here we are. Was it your internet that dropped off?
I don't know.
Huh.
We're back. Don't know. Okay, we're back with the win with Heather Haberman. We meant to do that break. Just kidding. So yeah, we were talking about the Yeti and different things you can use. So tell us more. Like we got dropped off about what's the best tool that you can use for Thinkific, and that you just basically don't do much. Meaning, what I mean by that is you don't need a lot of fancy tools to do your online product, right?
Yeah. And I was just saying, sort of at a minimum, if people are looking to get any kind of gear, I've seen some people spend months and tons of money on trying to figure out microphones and lighting and cameras. And I would just start by getting a decent. Don't spend more than you can get them for $60 or $120. Get a decent USB microphone you can plug into your computer, and that's plenty to get you going and creating voiceover slides or even video. Because really, the cameras that are built into your computers these days are amazing. And then if you do need if there's no camera on your computer and you need something, there's the Logitech C920, which is about $60, and it's a great HD camera. So really, with that and a basic microphone, you shine a little light. You don't need to spend money on lighting. Just sit by a window or something like that. You've got a great setup.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I just think back when I first got started of how challenging it was to do a course. I can't tell you how much you had to create it. You had to figure out how to record it. Then you had to get it to an editor, to like a rev.com to put it in binders. Then you had to get to a printer to create the DVDs or CDs. I'm talking major work here, guys. And now everything's done for you on computer. And on top of that, he's been able to set it up so that the processing's easy. Samcart is really easy to set up. PayPal, anyone can get a PayPal account. Boom, you're getting money. And I think that's really the hardest part. When I work with clients, they're always like, well, how do I get a course out? I don't understand the technology. Right? I understand what I want to talk about, but I don't understand the technology and how to deliver the course. And that's what you've been able to, I call, bridge the gap and help us. And unfortunately, you probably put a lot of webmasters out of business, but we apologize.
Well, the nice thing too is it's customizable. So there's a lot of things you can do, just point and click. But then for the webmasters, we actually have a lot of partners who are webmasters who will take our platform someone will build a product or a course on it, and then they can take it and customize it to anything. Because there's a lot of sites out there using Thinkific that you would never know it's us, because they've customized it so completely in terms of the look and feel and functionality to do whatever they want it to do. So you do even have that power to go and change it to whatever you want it to be in the future.
I like that, because I mean, you and I both can figure this out. I can always figure out if it's a wish list, or I can figure out all the time if it's Infusionsoft. I know the codes, what they're looking for, or I know, oh, this is ClickFunnels, you know what I mean? And that's great. But sometimes you're like, oh, this is just ClickFunnels. I mean, I love ClickFunnels, Russell. I think you're amazing. I love ClickFunnels. But I just, you figure stuff out sometimes. Is just like, oh, what's this? How are they doing this? This is kind of interesting. So tell us, what if someone wants to create a library, right? They want to create, or a membership area. Like, can they do that? Maybe what I mean by that is a monthly membership course, or can they do like an upfront course for $300 and a monthly for another $20 a month? Can they have that kind of flexibility, or is it just one-off courses?
Yes, all of the above. So you can do one-off, you can do membership area, you can do monthly subscription, you can do every 3 months, or every 6 months, or every annual subscription, and then you can even do coupons and discounting within that. So you could say, I'll give you your first month for $1 or for free, and then after that you start paying a monthly fee. Basically full flexibility. And then even alongside of that, you could have a bundle of products that you sell one way, and then other products that you sell a different way. So really, in terms of the e-commerce, with a couple of clicks, all that flexibility is all built in there automatically. So yeah, and we put that in really because I think that's a great question, because selling courses becomes pretty personal in terms of how people want to do it, and everyone has a different way that they want to package it up and sell it. So we wanted to create a very flexible system that's also easy, so that if you want to sell your course for $100 done, or you want to sell a membership for $100 a month, you can also do that all on the same site.
That's really awesome. I mean, you have to understand. I mean, I keep saying it's awesome, but believe me, I guess I feel like I've been born in 1910 when we didn't have any cars or something. Now, like, look at that Mercedes, that's how fast it went. It went from like not having anything to a Mercedes in less than 10 years, so it's pretty incredible. And I just wanted to, say that. So I wanted to point out to everybody that I'm part of the WE Online, Women's Entrepreneur Online event that's coming out next week, right? It's actually being launched right now. You can go to heatherhavenwood.com/WE. You can go ahead and sign up. Okay, there's part of that's for free and for the summit, and you can get on there and you can listen to, how many do you have? 50 women who are going to be presenting on there. Is that correct? I'm just 50. I don't know. I'm just knowing I'm going to be there. So I don't even know how many.
I'm not sure. Let me check right now. I think we actually, so you're kind of part of an exclusive group. We narrowed down the speaker list considerably. So we actually had, I think, far more people interested in speaking than actually are speaking. So it's a smaller list than some of the summits I've seen out there, but we were pretty selective about who's taking part in it. And the nice thing there is that people are quite prepared. They're delivering some amazing value, and it's some pretty amazing people who are actually delivering on the summit. So awesome to have you as part of it. Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity.
Excited. You guys go sign up at heatherhavenwood.com/WE. Okay, it stands for Women Entrepreneur. That's what it stands for. We. Okay, so heatherhavenwood.com/WE and sign up. Get on there. Sign up. Learn. It is sponsored by Greg and his entire team of Thinkific. It is an amazing opportunity for me, but more importantly, it's going to be a ton of value. Just give from amazing women entrepreneurs. And so we want to help you make money. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it's, I love the whole concept of helping women entrepreneurs. It's, my wife's an accountant for a big accounting firm, and so I'm very, I constantly encourage her in her career, because she's got, ambitions of partnership and moving along. So but I also hear the struggles of women workplace, moving up and stuff like that. And she's lucky she's got a firm that's very dedicated to creating opportunities for women. But I know that our societal structure is often stacked against women. And so I think the nice thing about the internet and entrepreneurs and the opportunity to be an entrepreneur is it kind of removes a lot of those barriers and smashes there is no glass ceiling, because you don't have a structure that says you can't take this opportunity. So it's a pretty excellent space to make some big changes online and for your personal business, but also as a society. I think it changes a lot of the rules.
I have to say, this is the first online summit I've ever been a part of where the group behind it, or the person behind it, was led by a man. I mean that in the most loving way. I think it's so cool. I'm like, wow, this is really cool, because I think a lot of the online summits come from women. Like, women-based businesses do online summits, and that's awesome too. But I just found it really refreshing, like something different, And I really I do. And Colin's a part of it. Colin's amazing. Hey, Colin. And the entire team at Thinkific is amazing. And announcement, if I can announce, ta-da, that Thinkific is my now new partner and sponsor of The Win with Heather Havenwood. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Because I only take two. I don't want to have like a lot of sponsors. You know what I mean? I have like two, Mobit and Thinkific. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I'm so blessed. I'm so excited to be a part of it. Not only with you guys and new partnership and what we're going to create and help other women just expand, but more importantly about, helping Thinkific and just what you guys are creating. I'm really excited to be a part of that and to really just, create partnership around that. So thanks. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And we'll create lots of opportunities for your listeners too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, when I first got started, like I said, in 2001 in the information marketing business, I told Colin, I'm like, look, guys, I am a perfect fit for you guys. I'm a huge component of how do I take my information, my knowledge I've learned as a lawyer, as an accountant, I know a guy who actually, he ran towing businesses, right? He was starting to teach other towing businesses how to make more money. I mean, you can go on and on and on. How do I get my information, my knowledge in my brain out there in the world and have them give me money? How does that work? And you guys started to bridge that gap, right? Because I think that was probably, you had that probably thought process at one point. I'm sure your brother did, like, okay, we're going to take knowledge out of your head, brother. And somehow people are going to buy you. Like, why would I do that? I mean, that's the process. And it's pretty interesting once you figure that out, because we are now in the digital age of knowledge, right? The more the more information we have, I wouldn't say is the best, but being able to get the information out of our heads into a place where people can actually purchase it. And you've, what I call, lowered the bar for that in a good way. You've been able to say, hey, we want more people to do this. So what is your mission? And do you have a tagline? What's your mission with Thinkific?
Well, it actually, going to your point of being able to get the knowledge out of your head and get someone to buy it. I mean, for me, the big thing, revenue is great and it's nice and it's made a huge difference in my life for sure. But for me, it's also always been about helping people and being able to share that knowledge and reach more people. So when I taught the classroom course, I could reach, depending on how good my marketing was, 5 to 30 people I could put in a classroom for a weekend and charge them a fee to come and learn. And I would get such amazing feedback. I'd have people email me or call me up months later and say, hey, thanks so much. It made such a difference. I was successful because of this course. So by going online, I was able to help and reach so many more people and get so much more of that feedback. And the emails I get even to this day are pretty like heartwarming, amazing, tug at the heartstrings kind of thing of the success that people get because of the knowledge I get to share with them. And just, being able to reach all of those extra people and help them. So that's really what got me into the education space. And it's what continues, I think, here at Thinkific is this concept of being helpful to people. And I think you see that in our customer support team and helping everyone. And then you just see it in everything we do to try and help our instructors create their own online courses and create their own businesses, and then also help them help their students learn. So really the helpfulness is the kind of driving force behind the whole company.
And it's also an international conversation. Because you can, right? I'm sure you have international students. Do you have a lot of international course creators at this point?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely a huge component in the US, but there's definitely as well people international, both on the student side and on the course creator side. So we're now seeing more and more people in all sorts of different locations around the world creating courses. And we recently have the ability for students even to select the language that they're learning in. So your student can sign in and say, hey, I actually want to change the whole site over to German or, whatever their language of comfort level is. Now, it doesn't automatically translate your videos or anything like that yet, but you could add things like closed captions and subtitles and stuff.
Yeah. That's really cool. That was actually my next question, because I've definitely learned that some of the things that I teach can be taught in other languages, but like I don't know that language. And there's this huge market I'm not tapping into. I mean, yes, I don't know what the percentages of English speaking on the planet. I don't know what that percentage is. I'm pretty sure it's number one, if not number two. But Spanish is right there. Spanish is number two, if not number three, or I'm not sure, but at least, in South America, North America, whatnot, Spanish is a huge another language I would like to tap into. And I think other people would too. So you guys have that opportunity on the text level, but not the video right now.
Yeah, well, and Portuguese is huge, Chinese, obviously. So lots of other markets to tap into. I've seen people doing amazingly well just by going into Brazil and offering stuff in Portuguese. And so, yeah, a lot of opportunities by getting into other spaces. So the translation that we have built in translates all of Thinkific. So for the student interaction and their navigation, everything, but the translation of the content's kind of up to the course creator. But there's a lot of ways to do it. So if you have a course that you want to try, I mean, I'd even suggest, through Fiverr or Upwork, you can get really inexpensive translation services and just say, hey, can you just do some closed captions for this video? You could even start with like a mini version, kind of MVP, like you're going back to doing your first course, and say, let's just create a mini Spanish course or a mini course in Portuguese, and get it translated and try it out, or even just the marketing or demo videos. And if you get some people interested, great, you can go through and use that revenue to translate the rest of the course.
That's a great idea. I remember when I first launched my podcast, Greg, I opened it up to the iTunes. You can see where people downloaded it. And I remember when I saw China, I'm like, China, like why were they listening to my podcast? I don't know why. I'm like, that just kind of, but it really is opening the world too. I mean, there's a ton of Australia, New Zealand listening. Thank you so much. And Europe and UK and German. But yeah, I think I'm what I call in that American little bubble in my head. And I definitely know that. I'm like, oh, there's people out there in China. Like I just kind of forget. And then you guys are in Canada. Like what's Canada? I'm just kidding. I love Canada. I love Canada. You guys are the best neighbors ever. So yeah.
We are building that wall though, right?
Yeah, are y'all building a wall? No. Canada like have a 3-foot wall. We just like step over it or something like.
Yeah, like a garden wall. Yeah.
Exactly, a garden wall. Like that's a nice garden wall. Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be your partner. I just want to tell everybody again, go sign up for the WE online, heatherhavenwood.com/WE, Women Entrepreneur stands for. Last words, where can they find you, Greg? If they're like, this guy's cool, I want to interview him, or just hang out, or how do I sign up for Thinkific? How can they find you?
Well, do we have something? Where do people go through you to find us? Is there a
heatherhavenwood.com.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
And then the podcast is going to have your show notes, and it's going to have where we can find you. I'm assuming Thinkific.com. Just go check out Thinkific.com. And that's an option, right? And we're going to put your website. So I think the only website right now is Thinkific.com and the WE online. So yeah, just any other last words, and like how awesome you are.
Yeah, I really appreciate being here. Thanks. This was a lot of fun. And thanks for experimenting with the live as well as podcast interview. This was kind of cool.
This is kind of cool. And we had some little hairy moments, but that's all right, and you're going to be hearing more of Thinkific on my podcast, everyone, because they're a new sponsor and they're a new partner. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about it. This is not the end of this conversation. And I'm looking forward to being part of that WE online. So go check it out, heatherhavenwood.com/WE. All right, everyone. This is Heather Havenwood on the Win.